Hi, Idris. How
How
are
you
you doing today?
doing? I'm good, Trey. How are you?
Good, good. It's so great to chat with you today about the Suicide Squad. I enjoyed the film so much. I thought it really wasn't what I expected. It had so many twists and turns in it, and I think that fans are going to appreciate it a lot. So, first, I want to start off with what drew you to this role. And since there was, the Suicide Squad back in 2016, did you have any idea what you were getting into when they were conceptualizing this new film?
The truth is, I didn't, Trey. I didn't have an understanding of what I was going to get into. I really signed on to the film because I was going to work with James Gunn,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it. I didn't know what he wanted to do different from the other movie. Okay, um, but what I did realize is that he wanted to bring a new life to it, a different vibe to it. He
Mm-hmm.
wanted to, take his experience and his sort of passion for, comics, the comic world, the DC world, the characters, and bring that into this huge, I'm going to say romantic movie. The reason why I say romantic because James Gunn was in love with this nostalgia of a film, a type of film that we haven't seen for a while, which has love and war and machismo and fragility. And he
Yeah.
really wanted to romanticize that into one film. And The Suicide Squad is that. So for me, it was a real sort of like, whoa, I'll just go along for the ride.
Yeah, yeah. And can you describe your character, Robert Dubois, aka Bloodsport, and what he brings to the team, what his motivations are, as well as his dynamic with, the other characters such as Harley, Flag, and Peacemaker?
Robert Dubois is a disgruntled guy that's sort of given up on life from me. And, he's been there, done that, seen it all. His motivation, though, becomes his family, which he sort of turned his back on. He has a daughter who's young, teenager, and, you know, um, Waller uses his daughter against him to get him to sign into the Suicide Squad. So that's his clear motivation. Why am I here? Because I want to save my daughter, even though he doesn't have the greatest relationship with her.
Yeah.
From a character perspective, it was sort of great to play because it had duality, and it had this sort of hard man guy. He's a mercenary. He's a bit older, but he's bad. He's just
Mhm,
bad.
mhm.
And then at the same time, he really loves his kid. He also has a fear of rats, and Ratcatcher 2,
Yes,
Ratcatcher
yes,
2
yes.
is on the squad. So you really get to understand his fragility. But Ratcatcher 2 is almost the same, slightly older than his own daughter. So he
Mhm.
finds a real emotional thread in there.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that this film leaves a lot of world building. There's so many characters, there's so much ground to explore. Would you be open to reprising the role of Bloodsport at some point, anytime after this film?
Yeah, totally, totally. I mean, look, Bloodsport is a lot of intrigue, and but at the same time, if Bloodsport only lived and died in this movie, he doesn't die, by the way, no spoilers. But you know, I'd be very satisfied with that. I think it's a real big contribution to the DC world and the Suicide Squad family. But I'd love to see it come back, see him come back, see the squad come back.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, this film is going to attract hardcore DC Comics fans, people who have seen the prior DC films. But what's something about the film that you think will attract people who may not be, familiar with the property? What do you think they will be able to get out of the film?
Um, well, it's a good question, actually, Trey, because I partly, and I'm going to say this, you know what I mean? The world really wants to get back to the cinema. It's a shared experience. We
Yeah.
love going to the cinema like we like going to the beach, okay? But, what to go see? What are you going to go see? And this movie, for me, if you don't know anything about the DC world, fair enough. But if you want to see a bunch of characters that are really interested and never seen before, that have a central theme that you can get into, that have the spectacle and grandiose of a big movie, this is it. This is
Yeah.
that movie that you go to the cinema and be like, I went back to the cinema and I watched Suicide Squad, and it made me fall back in love with cinema. Like really, like I really think that, because I think it's got such scale and color, and James Gunn is his work deserves to be seen on a big screen.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait for everyone to see this film. Thank you so much.
Cheers, brother.
Have a good one.